What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily, NFL Sunday edition here, November 13th, 2022. Michael, thank you, man. That was frustrating. I thought the 1 was home, and then the 7 absolutely romped in the second half of that double. I hope anyone who's betting fixed odds, I know Lord was on here yesterday talking about the fixed odds that second race. It got a good number on that 7 horse before the other Baffert scratch. So hopefully made some shekels there. We got a busy show today. We're going to talk a lot about the NFL. Pop Dude taking a couple hockey games. Magic has a video for the Grey Cup playoffs. We'll get to that as well. But let's start off here, Pop Dude, with a little college football talk. We had a pretty busy day, highlighted to me by Oregon just failing on defense consistently in that second half, giving up big play after big play to Washington, who ends up knocking Oregon and probably the best chance for a Pac-12 team to make the playoff out last night.
Yeah, that was a big one. Just a quick synopsis of it. The undefeated teams held serve. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. They went out and won. That TCU-Texas game was really weird in the point totals, 17-10. It took them forever to score. That was really strange. And Texas didn't come through again. Great wins for Tennessee to hold serve like the undefeated teams and demolish Missouri. That's what Tennessee's got to do in these last 3 games. Great win for North Carolina coming back and beating Wake. That's a very big win for them. Doesn't have really playoff implications, but a big win. I thought that was a great bounce back for Clemson.
Yeah,
that's a game I thought they might lose. LSU held on to beat Arkansas, and now it's LSU and Georgia in a slaughter in the SEC championship game for all practice. If you think about these conference championship games, we got horrible games coming up in the ACC or the SEC and the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, the Big Ten is going to be awful because you're going to get a very bad team playing Michigan or Ohio State, whoever wins there. So
in the SEC, I don't think LSU can hold up with Georgia.
What's the line?
What will it be? I think 25, 20.
I would probably take the points. I thought it'd be like 17.5, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I think it'll be. It depends. There's a couple of games left. Anyway, Alabama came back and won, and of course the big winner was Washington. Or not a big winner, but what an upset! I think the big winner in all of this, when we're talking about the playoffs, and I hate to say this, is USC, because now a lot of things have to happen for them to get in. But one of the dominoes that fell, Oregon lost. And I think Oregon was ahead of USC if there was a Pac-12 team that was going to get in. Now suddenly USC probably will be up to maybe 6 this week. And one of those undefeateds is going to lose. What USC has to hope for is TCU gets beat. And then they've got a shot. It's slim, but they do have a chance.
I think Tennessee had the best day yesterday. I think that Oregon loss really helped Tennessee quite a bit because a one-loss Oregon team winning the Pac-12 and that loss being opening week to Georgia, I think it's a much better case than a one-loss USC team.
Absolutely.
And so I think Tennessee had a big day yesterday because I agree with you. I don't think TCU ends up going undefeated. And if they lose, then you can get them out of here. And then I think Tennessee is pretty much a mortal lock.
Yes.
To make it, even if they just went out. So I think Tennessee had a great day yesterday. I'm excited to see them in the playoff. They are a fun team to watch.
They are.
Tough spot there in Georgia last week. We'll see how they bounce back. All right, now let's move on to the NFL here, Papa Dude. We've got a massive slate, and let's start out up in, Orchard Park, I believe it is, Orchard Park, New York, where it's been a wild roller coaster of a week. And for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen was presumed not to play. So this game opened 7.5.
Right.
When they thought he'd be in. Moves to 3.5 when they assume that he won't play. It tickles 3 for a little bit, Buffalo -3. Yesterday, the news comes out that he will most likely play. Game jumps all the way to -7. It's confirmed he's going to play today, and it drops down to -5. So right now, it's Buffalo -5 against Minnesota. It's been a roller coaster of a line move. I'm not sure what to expect from Josh Allen here. It's an elbow injury. They're saying it cannot get worse from him playing. But I would also expect they're not really going to risk him running as much as you'd expect. They're going to try and lean a little bit heavier on shorter passes. What do you expect from the Bills here, and what do you make of this -5 line?
I don't understand that. Because you say it went to 7, right?
Yeah, it was 7.
Confirmed he's going to play. It went to 5.
Yeah, there is some weather in the area, but it's not like he has struggled with weather in the past. I mean, he's one of those quarterbacks that's kind of immune to it, playing in college at Wyoming and having the big arm, and like that's not a big issue for Josh.
Right. So the line is telling us that maybe Case Keenum is better than Josh Allen.
They're saying it's only a 1.5 difference right now, which seems a little bit low. I would take a little bit higher of a difference.
I think the line's right at 5 myself, because exactly from what you said, I think they're going to tell him limit your run. And let's face it, that's what makes Josh Allen what he is. I mean, he's so dangerous running the ball. So
it's a huge dimension of that offense, especially in the red zone and on third down. When he gets his feet moving, he is very, very difficult to stop. I'm not going to bet the game. Total's 45.5, Bills -5. I don't have a feeling for this. I think the Vikings are a fraud. If this was -5 and Josh Allen was healthy and there was no weather, I would be hammering the Bills. Right. But we're not in that situation. So I think there are better spots to throw your hard-earned money at than
I do too.
A risky Bills pick there.
Yeah.
All right, let's head over to the Windy City here, Chicago Bears, and what is maybe like not exactly a good game, but it's going to be a fun game. You've got Detroit headed into Chicago. Right now we're sitting at Chicago -2.5 or 3, depending on where you're playing. Total sitting at 48.5. I mean, look, Justin Fields has looked phenomenal the last couple of weeks, really turned it around, ran the ball all over the Dolphins last week. Any thoughts here on the Lions and the Bears?
Well, it's one of these games where the Bears can get a little bit of momentum, right? They should win. They should. They're at home. They're playing well. Detroit's defense is up and down. The Lions are the Lions. But I'm going to go like you. I would not throw my hard-earned money on this game either. So you just have two teams you just can't trust, or I can't.
I am a little interested and probably going to throw a couple shekels on the Bears team total over in this spot. They're over 26. Detroit's defense is atrocious. And it seems like the Bears coaching staff has kind of started to figure out how to unlock Justin Fields, and that his feet are a very important part of him being effective right now as a quarterback in the NFL. If they continue to do that, and you've got this atrocious Detroit defense, I think that the Bears are able to put up points in bunches here against them, similar to what the Dolphins were able to do last week, and what they did to the Dolphins, or to the Dolphins did to them 2 weeks ago, and what they did to the Dolphins last week. So I think the Bears are going to move the football up and down the field.
Yeah, I think they win. It just sometimes they don't play like we think they're going to do, and that's why their record is what it is. So interesting game, though.
We've got an interesting one in Germany right now as Tampa is trying to lose. It's now 21-15. They're lining up for two. Oh, they kicked the extra point. So 21-16, 5-point game with about 4 minutes left in Germany there. By far the best we've seen Tampa play all year. But how about the fact that we already have our worst play call of the week and we are one game into the week? What was Leftwich doing, thinking, throwing it back to Brady inside the red zone?
I don't know, because I think I might be able to catch Brady. You know, I mean, he would have had to have been so wide open. You know, there couldn't have been anybody within 10 yards of him, right, for it to work.
Well, it's where it's overthinking to the nth degree here, right? Because they ran the exact same play about 4 plays before, and Fournette runs out, and they showed the replay, and no one covered Brady. And so clearly the Bucs coaching staff saw that, and they said, you know what? Let's get cute. Let's actually throw it to him. And it's like, look, you're more athletic than Tom Brady is at this point, Papa dude.
That's not true. That's not true.
I bet you could cover Tom Brady in a go route right now, because it's not pretty from what he's able to do out there. So it's surprising they decided to do it. And man, that was an absolute mess.
But you talk about these last 4 minutes being important. If Tampa can hold on, this is a huge win for them to win the division. And if Seattle comes back, there's a clear-cut favorites now to win the NFC West. There's no doubt about it. So this is a huge last 4 minutes.
Especially with the loss for Atlanta on Thursday. I mean, this is an Atlanta loss and a Tampa win put them in the driver's seat. And Atlanta has an easier schedule coming home. They are a worse team, but they have an easier schedule coming home. All right, let's cover one more before we jump over to horse racing here. Dallas is invading the frozen tundra of Lambeau here, laying, looks like right now 4 in most places, 3.5 in a couple. Total sitting on 44.5. Green Bay has not been able to get anything right on the offensive side of the ball, and now they're facing a vaunted Dallas defense here. How is Green Bay going to be able to move the football, and can they cover? Or is this line right here sitting at 4 with -3.5?
Don't you think it ought to be a little more? I think.
do.
Yeah. I think it's one of these things, and we talked about it yesterday. Green Bay gets a little bit of love because of Aaron Rodgers, number one, and they're Green Bay, and they're at home.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, now I'm a little bit like this, just keep thinking they're going to break out of it and have one of those games. And then the other thing is every year Dallas has a flop, right? A game where they don't show up. And I think a lot of people are kind of thinking that might happen today. They're coming off a bye. You never know how teams react when they come off a bye. I'm with you. The Dallas defense is tough. And I've said this a million times on this show. They used to be flash. Now they're smash. They win the old-fashioned way. You know, they used to have to outscore you. They used to have to do these fancy stuff, and they had all these skilled players that were fantastic, but they didn't have any defense. They've gone the other way. Their defense has stopped everybody. Like you said, Green Bay doesn't have very many weapons. Rodgers looks at the center, says he's getting old. Could be the kind of game, though, that he gets a little wound up in, but I don't know if he's got enough players around him. Do you?
You hit the nail on the head when you said he looks disinterested. That is exactly how I feel about Aaron Rodgers right now. I don't think he is enjoying playing with these teams. I don't think he loves playing for Mike LaFleur at the head coaching position. Like he said, Hackett was his guy. Hackett's now in Denver. He kind of made his own bed here by signing that contract and forcing Devontae Adams out of town because of the amount of money he took under the cap. But he just looks miserable, and now he's going to face a pass rush that is very good, and their offensive line is not very good. So it's going to come down to the fact of whether or not Green Bay can run the football. Because if they can't run the football, it's going to be a very, very long day there. And guess what Green Bay also can't do? Stop the run. And guess what Dallas can do? Pollard could go off here. So I wouldn't be shocked if this is a double-digit win for the Packer or for the Cowboys. So I'm going to lay the 4. I think the Cowboys are a good side here.
Yeah, they should win this game fairly easy, but we just never know. You know how NFL is. You just don't know for sure.
The other thing I do think is a positive for them is the fact that this division is so tight. You have these letdown games a lot more when it's an up and down division, or when you're playing at 4-4, 5-5, things like that. When you have the Eagles sitting there at 8-0 and you're sitting at 6-2, these are must-win games, and that usually will get a team going a little bit more than you'll see in other spots. All right, let's head over to the racetrack here. We're going to cover the feature from Aqueduct, which has a ton of scratches, but still a very interesting race. The Artie Schiller, the 8th race on the card. You were scratching the 1, the 4, the 6, the 9, the 10, the 12, and the 13, but it leaves, I think, a really fun field here. One of the keys is that Big Everest now loans speed. There were 3 horses that wanted to go to the front. Now there is just 1, so the 3 becomes infinitely more dangerous in that spot. Papa Dude, where'd you end up on top here?
I landed with Big Everest, running pretty well in the lone speed aspect for sure. 4 out of 9 lifetime, has won 3 allowance races, last 4 starts, 1 over the track. So I think he's in good form. It's going to be interesting how the bets go now with all of those horses scratched. We don't really know how that,
Yep.
He was 8-1 on the morning line, I believe. I think he's definitely going to get bet down to what? 3-1, 4-1, maybe?
This is going to be really interesting to see who the favorite is.
Yeah.
I think Palo Alto is probably going to go off as the favorite now.
Yeah.
Because it's a horse with Graham Motion. Trevor McCarthy had success in France over a good turf. Won a stakes race over there, great stakes race, great Group 2 over a good turf. So I think Palo Alto ends up your favorite here. But Big Everest definitely is going to take money now. I mean, the fact that we've lost Wolfie Stein and Ghost and somebody to hop around, you got lone speed, and that is awfully dangerous.
Yeah, and the thing, the one negative is he's taken a pretty big step up. Has never won a stakes race.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to run better than he has. I like Palo Alto also, and then I think the 8, I believe it's the 8, Decorated Invader, I believe it is.
Yeah, Decorated Invader is an interesting one. The other Clement in this spot, this horse took over a year off. This is 3rd off that layoff. Looked very good at Woodbine last time out. Now trying to jump up in class here and face a stakes company, but not as high of a level as you saw before that break. So I do think Decorated Invader is interesting. Can I throw a bomb at you? By the way, I hope some people hit the exacta yesterday in that Del Mar race. I don't know if you watched it. It went 4-8. And that was so the 4 horse won at 3-1, and the long shot, we said the 8 came in second there, 7-1. So that was a nice little exacta. The bomb I like here, Shadow Sphinx, the 2-horse.
Okay.
Very interesting horse to me. One that got claimed by Mike Maker 2 back, and just draw a line through that Kentucky Downs race. The horse doesn't want to be going 6.5 furlongs. That last race was sneaky good, going a mile at N2X. They protect the horse. Now we're jumping up into stakes company. There are multiple races from California that fit for this horse to be able to beat this field. And Castellano has been absolutely on fire recently in New York as well. So I think the 2-horse sitting at 15-1, really, really interesting price. I'll be interested to see what we get. I don't think we're getting 15-1 with all the scratches and the fact that I think this is not the best morning line ever.
Right. Well, to me, it's a wide open race. Don't you think? There is no clear cut with the scratches now.
Yeah. It's one where I would definitely I hope Palo Alto isn't the favorite. Palo Alto is my top pick. I don't really want to play a horse that's 2-1 in this field, though. I'm looking for something that's 4 or 5 to 1 because it's fairly wide open.
Well, that horse wouldn't have been 2-1 without the scratches, right?
Yeah, no, you would have gotten a better price without that.
I don't think that's a 2-1 horse. I really don't. I'm with you. I think I'd try to beat him.
I was going to try and beat Some Like It Hot Brown. I thought that was a terrible 7-2 favorite. I was like, no thanks, not even a little bit with this other speed in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into our best bets here before we sign off for the week, and we'll kick it off with a buddy of ours who videoed in a pick. So Magic is going to cover his Grey Cup pick here, taking Winnipeg -4.
What's up, guys? It's Magic. Hey, dad duties are going to prevent me from being live on the show, but I did want to get in my picks for the CFL Conference Final weekend. The Montreal Alouettes, not touching them. My heart says go A's. I'm with you, Sylvain. Love the A's, but I don't know about that game. I am going to talk about the BC Lions playing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, baby. The Bombers going for their 3rd straight Grey Cup. I think they cover, and here's why. The weather is terrible in Winnipeg. It's going to be a high of about 22 degrees Fahrenheit. It's -6 Celsius. It's going to be precipitation. It's going to be kind of snow and sleet. It's going to be windy, and that sets up perfectly for the Bombers and their ground and pound attack. They have an amazing running game going right now. They outplay every team in the trenches, which is key when you get into these late winter games. The BC Lions, I love them. I have a future bet on them in full disclosure, but this is not me hedging against my future bet on the BC Lions. I just think their vertical attack game is just not going to be well suited for the weather. It's too close of a line. I'm going to take the Blue Bombers. Remember, you can't spell win without Winnipeg. Go Blue Bombers. Good luck if you're playing.
There's our boy Magic videoing in a pic from a drug deal, it looks like. I don't know what he's doing in the garage. So, but he's going the Blue Bombers here for a little Grey Cup playoff action. The semifinals this week, finals next week, so he'll be back giving that pick. I got to say, at first I thought it was just a shtick. He's done a very good job covering the Canadian Football League.
He's the guy. I mean, what do I know? I haven't watched the play, but he is the guy. And was that after the hockey game? No way. That was after the hockey game last night. No way.
It was. Yeah, that was after the game.
That was after the game?
Yep, because I got the text last night. He got home. He recorded the video, threw it up on here, did it in the car to not wake the kid up, and then so we could play the live pick here.
Very impressed. Very impressed.
Man. Aaron, take notes. You could have done that with your picks this weekend.
That's right. That was impressive.
All right, let's go to Aaron's best bet when we bring it up. He's going to head to the racetrack here. He's going to Aqueduct. Race number 7, the 8-horse, who is 4-1 on the morning line. I thought this was a really interesting horse. Beguine is the name of the horse. Coming in from Keeneland, ran well and kind of quit after setting the pace, going 7 furlongs over the dirt. Had been going 2 turns prior to that. I agree with his angle here. This is a small barn. Edward Allard, who does not run in New York very often. Irad Ortiz picks up the mount. So you get the top jockey for a small barn in a race that, to be honest, is kind of wide open anyway. I don't love the favorite here, the 6-horse Jane Grey for Bill Mott, who is going to be a very short, well, I'm guessing sub 2-1 price in here. I think it's really between the Ortizes, the 3 and the 8, and I don't mind the price at 4-1 at all. Should be able to stalk and have some pounce here. The outside post also going to help out the 8B9 here. So Aaron going race 7 at Aqueduct, horse number 8 on the board at 4-1.
All right.
All right. I'll jump over to my best bet of the day here. I'm going to play a 2-team parlay. I don't throw up a lot of parlays out here, but these are 2 games that I really like today. San Francisco, I have a massive bet at -6.5. I got it earlier this week. I still like them quite a bit tonight at -7. They're playing the LA Chargers. This is a nightmare matchup for the Chargers. They cannot block, and San Francisco can rush very easily with their front 4, and they can't stop the run. And San Francisco has McCaffrey and can run the ball very easily as well. They're also coming off the bye. You get Shanahan with extra time to prepare and get McCaffrey more and more into this offense. I think the Niners roll tonight on Sunday Night Football. And then I'm going to take Denver +2. And there's a couple reasons for this. First off, we just got the injury report that came out. Tennessee is missing their top 2 pass rushers. So Tennessee is not going to be able to put the same pressure that they have been able to put on teams on the defensive side of the football. And that has been a key for their success because their secondary is not very good. 4 of their top 6 defensive players are out. Their 2 top pass rushers, Simmons and Dupree, both out. So to me, Tennessee is really hampered there. You also have Tannehill, who's coming back from injury. Not sure we're going to get there. The top wide receiver is still out. Tennessee is just really beat up. And Denver's defense is good. I expect this to be a very low-scoring game. I think catching anything with Denver is good here. I think Denver is able to win this game outright. But we'll take the Denver +2, Niners -7, +237 on that parlay right now, Papa Dude.
Love it. I love it. I almost took the under in that game too, the Denver-Tennessee game, because I don't think there's going to be much scoring on it. I think Denver's better than their record. I really do. They just have lost. Huh?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be. They have a better team than what their record is, which there's a reason their record is what it is. And hopefully that won't hold true again today. So we'll see.
Well, Hackett really just threw up a couple games. I mean, he cost them 2 games early in the season. He has not been as brutal the last couple weeks. He seems like he's getting his feet under him a little bit more as a head coach. But the defense in Denver, to me, is really what the linchpin of that team. If the Tennessee's offensive line is not great, Denver can get after the passer. They've got multiple good cornerbacks. I mean, this is just a tough matchup. They stop the run, and that's what Tennessee wants to do. So if they can put 9 in the box and put their corners out on an island and shut down bad Tennessee wide receivers, it's going to be a long day for this Titans offense. So hopefully Broncos defense can come to play. All right, let's head over to the ice, Papa Dude. Close out the week with a nice little Pucks parlay. Who you got?
Well, I really like this one, and we're getting even money on 2 teams. They're at home. This just stuck out at me. I don't see them losing. But it's hockey. The Sharks are coming off a good win in Dallas. This is their 3rd road game. They lost in St. Louis. By the way, good job last night, Blues. Winning that game. That was huge. But anyway, the Wild are playing very, very well. They got off to a horrible start, but they're rolling. They're tough at home. I just think they beat the Sharks in this one. And then the Bruins have the Canucks. The Bruins are one of the best teams in the league. They're very consistent. The Canucks are playing better than they did. They're not going to go in Boston and win, are they? I don't think so. So I like both of these games, and we're getting decent money. So I threw that one in there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think these are 2 pretty safe bets. I would be surprised if either of these teams lose. The much worse team going into the home barn of a much better team, usually a pretty safe spot to fire at. Betting either by themselves a little rough because of the prices, but when you put them together, you get the plus money. I think it's pretty interesting. I like New York quite a bit too with the upstart Coyotes who are 6-7 on a young season, but you're laying pretty big juice there as well, so it wouldn't help this parlay too much. But hopefully we can get this one home, have a solid week. Very, very close to having a very big day yesterday. My photo cost us a 5-1 winner. Magic has a +190. The Wings were in that game the entire time and just could not finish the job. So could have been very different. Let's go over the best bets here, and we will sign off for the week. We'll see everybody again on Wednesday. So Papa Dude taking the Bruins in the Wild, +101. Magic going to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, -4. I can't believe I know they're the Blue Bombers now. Aaron taking Aqueduct Race number 7, horse number 8, 4-1 on the morning line. I'm going to go with Denver +2 and the Niners -7, +237 for that little parlay. For the week, we're 4-9, but we're only down $10 because, hey, plus money bets are cool. For the year to date, we are up $1,379 off a $100 base bet. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Best of luck today in the NFL. Best of luck today in the Grey Cup playoffs. And, of course, at the racetrack. We will be back on Wednesday. Have a good week.